Welcome to the CoFounders podcast. Real-life stories from startups to billion-dollar iconic brands. Conversations with industry disruptors and inspiring leaders. Brought to you in part by WeWork, the world's largest network of co-working spaces. More info at WeWork.com. And the Pro Business Channel, uploading the future. More info at ProBusinessChannel.com. Now let's join our host and guests on this episode of the CoFounders podcast.
So welcome once again to the CoFounders podcast show, and we're here on our Pro Business Channel studios. We have a great lineup of guests here in the studio joining us here today, and this show being brought to you in part by WeWork, and Craig Williams is in the house as usual.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready for this one or what?
Yeah, even with this view. A little overcast, but it's beautiful.
It's our Buckhead $1 billion, but we just did an upgrade since last time we were here, because we did some math. There's no $1 million building out here, so we did the math, added up, so it's our Buckhead $1 billion view.
Yeah, and rubbing shoulders with who we rub shoulders with. Hey,
yeah.
I mean, hey, it is what it is, right?
All right. Did you win the lottery or something like that? Yeah.
Hey, look at our
we're
guest
going to be
list.
we're going to be talking about $1 billion funding and so forth. So before we introduce our first guest, let's welcome also joining us in the studio here today, an upcoming episode or a segment, I should say, Anthony Strayhorn. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So give us a little teaser what you might be chatting about today.
We're talking about health and fitness.
All right.
How that is a metaphor to life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Can't go wrong with that. And so how do folks, give us like a website or how do people get in touch with you?
So just my name, AnthonyStrayhorn.com.
Okay.
Also, I have a social media page, Facebook, StrayFit ATL, StrayFit ATL.
You're going to talk about what's new in modern day self-care, right?
Yeah, I'll talk about some things like that.
Lifestyle. Okay, cool. All right, so stay tuned for that. And also alongside Anthony, we have Dale Sizemore is joining us. You're going to be talking about a new widget that you're bringing to the marketplace, talking about VoterWorks. Give us a little teaser on that.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, yeah.
VoterWorks was designed to help people who want to run for political office find the most engaged voters. So let's come up with better choices than we ended up with in 2016.
Right.
Well, we're doing our part.
All right. And give us a little teaser without too much information, but so this is going to help people in what? And give us a little teaser without too much information, but so this is going to help people in what respect in terms of their campaigns?
It helps people find the most engaged voters cost effectively and reduces the barriers to running for office. If people think it's really hard, they're not going to run for office. It shouldn't have to cost a fortune to run for office. It doesn't have to now. We can show you how. Paint by numbers. Moneyball for politics.
I like that. Oh, Moneyball for politics. Nice. All right. Well said. Also joining us in the studio is Michael Hightower. Michael, what are you going to be chatting about here today?
Well, I came to shine Cassius Butt's shoes.
That's
my job, man. I'm a professional.
The reason I had to park the car to get up the stairs after I shined his shoes.
Yeah.
So I know my role.
Yeah.
Very quickly on next Monday, and Mr. Butts is the panelist, there will be a session at Georgia International Convention Center that's next Monday from 7:30 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. dealing with, it's called the MARTA Get Ready for Transportation Summit. Essentially, it's going to include top officials from the region as it relates to the transportation projects and to kind of further empower opportunities for small and women and veteran-owned businesses. A lot of folk who Cassius has helped to really build capacity for the past several years. As we all know, Renew Atlanta has a lot of projects going on right now with that already approved. We have Hartsfield-Jackson, which of course has a phenomenal growth spirit throughout the state and in the region. And certainly we today with the voters passage, I'm going to go ahead and claim it of these referendums.
All right, go for it, yeah.
So I think what a better time Monday morning after to say, how do we make this happen and involve small and minority-owned businesses?
Absolutely. Well said. And we're going to have a little bit more conversation with you in just a moment. But how would folks find out about your event or yourself? And
well, I think
point
first
of
of all, while I get my info, I think right now I will include that in my later comments.
Okay, sounds good to me.
I guess so.
All right, so you mentioned about veterans, and so that's a great segue into welcoming Cassius Butts, and you're the regional with the Southeast for the SBA administration. Been in a few times, right? And so you're going to hear the newest news and what's going on in the SBA. But tell us about this Veteran Small Business Week that you recently celebrated, and who participated, and what did that look like?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much for allowing SBA to be a part of this again. It's always good to be with you, Rich and Greg.
Absolutely.
You talk about national veterans. I feel like I'm a veteran at this now. This is like, it's fun. It's fun. And also having some great folks here today. And also, of course, with Mr. Hightower here at the collaborative firm is always good company.
Yep.
Next week is going to be interesting because we're celebrating National Veteran Small Business Week. And it's something that we've taken a hands-on approach to making certain that our veterans had the opportunity to realize their entrepreneurial dreams. And we branded National Veteran Small Business Week with hashtag MyVetBiz across the nation.
Nice.
And so this administration is honoring our veterans in a lot of different ways. And this is just one way we think is going to be really important to us. So last week was really important. We thought that really making certain that our veterans had an opportunity to be highlighted and also to be appreciated. So conversations with hashtag MyVetBiz can be followed on Twitter, and you'll see a lot more about that coming up soon.
Well, just as you're speaking, it just all of a sudden went viral, just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that, yeah.
Just like that.
So what's also exciting is we've never had this conversation. You have some new initiatives, and especially we wanted to have you. We've been on the Buckhead, I think, the Georgia Business Radio show before.
Yes.
But this is one of our newer spotlight shows or shows in the studio, the CoFounders and Startup Show.
Yep.
So talk to us about some of the new initiatives that you have up your sleeve, and specifically the Startup Day initiative.
So one of the new initiatives we have is SBA's Growth Accelerator Fund. It's a competition initiative that falls under SBA's Office of Investment and Innovation. And it's a very popular, important program to our office. We help a lot of entrepreneurs stay on the cutting edge of technology. Last week, we announced a total of 850,000 have gone to 17 new winners of the SBA's third annual Growth Accelerator Fund. And each organization is receiving about $50,000 from the SBA. So
Wow.
That's $850,000.
That's right.
Participants.
Yeah. That's for
Wow.
participants. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
But I wanted to make sure we had our numbers and our facts correct. One of the things we also did this past fiscal year was Startup in a Day initiative, and that's an initiative that aims to start up reducing the time that it takes to apply for permitting and licensing at the local level. And so, you have a lot of folks who are familiar with this process. Michael Hightower can tell you
Shaking his head,
directly about how that can be a challenge. And if you get through that more efficient, folks can actually start to realize the entrepreneurial dreams a lot sooner. And so we've had some cities who have reached out and received funding for that. We think about while fair zoning rules, licensing permits are important to ensure public safety. It shouldn't take that long just to get your license done at these different municipals. And so I have to admit, the city of Atlanta was one of the first folks who actually signed on.
That's how we roll.
That's right. Right here in the city of Atlanta, we received $50,000. They're going to start an online platform that's getting ready to come out soon. And so we're just happy about it. A lot of folks are really encouraged as well, too.
So is this pretty much as it says, Startup in a Day initiative? What does this look like? Is this people collecting together and you guys bring the resources together and help them navigate those waters? Or
Yeah, so the initiative, it's grown to right now, probably hundreds of cities throughout the country. And signing on basically puts you in a position with the city to say, hey, we're going to come up with a way for you to get through the lines, to make them shorter, to make them more efficient. And it just makes, and sometimes you may not have to come to City Hall. It's an online platform. It's what we're really reaching to get to. So you don't have to come to the city, pay for parking, pay for time.
There's an app for that.
So it's like the Disney Express Pass, right? Just cut out all the lines.
Just cut it all out. But these are some new innovative things that we're talking about, really getting involved. That's making our cities a lot more efficient and also to compete not just domestically, but also abroad as well, too.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I thought Craig had a comment there.
No, I'm all into this one.
Yeah.
Because the SBA being the leader as far as giving out the money, but also utilizing the tools that they're going to share with others so that they could amplify their businesses as well. So
absolutely,
I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
And so, what's the calendar or timetable for these Growth Accelerator competitions? I mean, does this go on a regular basis, or is this an annual, or what does that look like?
So it's a couple of different things. Our Growth Accelerators actually have a time frame. Excuse me. We actually announce at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And it actually goes on throughout the calendar year, and we try to keep it open for folks to apply before the end of the year comes up. And so you'll see more policies and more start dates when the next administration.
Sure, when it rolls out. Okay, nice. And what about like what is some of the criteria to participate, or how does it? How do people get involved?
Sure, yeah. So definitely, you have to be a viable business. Yeah, you gotta yeah, you gotta have business license.
Okay,
have business
check,
license,
check.
You gotta have that.
Yeah.
But really, it's really just if you're in the incubating stage, or you have a product or something that's making sense, you have something that's scalable, then we want to talk to you. And that's another thing that our offices and our small business development centers are available for, to help you with that. And so just be in that place where you actually have that product, you have your business license, you have you're ready to go, and you may be looking for financing. So we want to help with all three.
You think that's something that we could host at one of our events? Possibly have you come out over to our WeWork creative space, and we'd love to have that.
Yeah.
We finally got the space completed. And
well, I think it will be perfect, and will be even more perfect for you guys. When the new calendar season rolls in, I'll be rolling out, but you will also always have Lola Crest, who's our regional communications.
She's always in the house. Yeah.
Lola.
She's the anchor,
Rock and roller Lola from Pensacola.
I like that. I haven't heard that one. Yeah. She's all turning around now.
She told me that on her first day on the job. I just cracked up. No, but no, really, she's going to be a place, and she's very instrumental in making certain that the word gets out. And that's what we want to. So it's perfect person to help make it happen.
I'm sure you're going to be a phone call away for some of those people who need some kind of advice.
You know where I'm going to be sitting right with Michael Hightower.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Let's get things happen.
Well, that's a great segue. I just want one other topic before we segue into Michael, because that would have been a perfect segue. But I do want to talk about National Small Business Week, which is close to our heart.
Dear to our
heart, right? Yeah. Our middle name is business. We've had probably 2,000-3,000 people come in the studio. Most of them, although we've had some high-powered, some celebrities, CEOs, billion-dollar companies, but a lot of these folks fit right in that wheelhouse, that they're not that big box store, which we have a lot of those in Atlanta and home-based. We're proud to have those, right?
Yep.
But talk to us about this initiative that you guys have been doing for quite a number of years. This isn't something new.
No, it's not.
So talk to us about it.
So National Small Business Week, this is something that's been going on for some time. The president actually declared this to be the week to acknowledge small businesses. It's actually May 6th, 2017. District offices are actually now accepting applications for folks to really be recognized during this week. And so some of the categories that we want small business owners to apply for, to give them exposure, networking, and free marketing. Previous winners of National Small Business Week may include Ben & Jerry's, Callaway Golf, Chobani, Dogfish Head, Stony Field Farm, Pacifica, and Tom of Maine's. And so the National Small Business Person of the Year is selected from each district office, and they get to go to Washington, D.C., May 1st. And some of those categories include Small Business Person of the Year, Exporter of the Year, awards for disaster recovery, federal procurement awards, persons who are actually involved in that area, and so awards to our resource partners as well too, and our small business investment company of the year as well too, and of course Pro Business Channel. We talked about this last time.
I love that. Yeah, let's make that happen.
Yeah.
So best Pro Business Channel of the Year award. Yeah, we have our own category. Yeah, I love that.
So that's coming up, but I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that on November 26th is Small Business Saturday, and so we just want to make sure folks are going to participate and support your local small business as well too.
Yeah, I know the campaigns you see on the TV and so forth, and it's just I kind of just does warm your heart. It's like these people. You probably know the statistics better, but it's upward to the 90 percentile.
90,
right?
Yeah, and almost 98.5% of the country runs off of small business.
The economy,
yeah.
Could I talk about this guy for a quick second?
Absolutely. Go for it. That's a good segue. So,
no, really, not because I really don't care for this guy. He went to Morehouse College.
Man. Here we go. Okay, security. We need. How's our security in the building? Yeah, bring Tina in here. Yeah.
When persons get rejected from Clark, Atlanta, they go to Morehouse. But really,
and I went there for graduate.
You said you're good. You guys are good friends. Is what you said?
Hey, friends. I've learned so much from Mike.
No, but really, his administration in this region seriously has reached out to more business in a practical manner.
Right.
A lot of times you see bureaucrats, they go through the motions to check the boxes, right, Ms. Pensacola? But folk could really touch people and make it work.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying just because I like him as a friend, but that's the difference in making things happen.
Right. Yeah.
You know, how do you make it work systematically? Don't just go through a seminar and say, fill out the form. So I want to just brag on that guy for that.
Well said. Because you do have a lot of sometimes a sense of these big government agencies and that they're so distant, you know. But when you have when you see the work that they're doing in 8 states that you help coordinate, right?
Yeah, we have a record total of almost $30 billion have been backed in small business in the last 6 years. Our record breaking, I think we did almost 1.6 billion right here in the state of Georgia this past fiscal year, another record. But to Michael's point, it wouldn't happen not just because of me, but because there are some folks here, you know, Dale and the rest, everyone here is actually a small business. And when you're taking a proactive approach to talk about highlighting folks like here, like Michael was doing next week, that's what it really is about. Because if we don't take care of our small businesses, who will?
Absolutely. You know? Yeah. So we're gonna let's segue to Michael, but first, Cassius, how would folks get in touch with the SBA and so
Rock and roll a load from picking up.
You need to get that domain name whenever.
No, it's really easy for us. So in Atlanta, 404-331.
And the rest of it is
0100. You know, last time I gave out my personal cell.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
No, but 404-331-0100, and also follow us at SBA Southeast. Follow us on Twitter because we send out information all the time. Yeah. We're located at 233 Peachtree Street on the 19th floor is where the district office is located. Yeah. So if you have an idea, we're open to listen and hopefully we can help you at no cost.
Yeah, I've been there in the partnership with SCORE. I mean, there's just so much good stuff going on.
And we're ambassadors as well, so if you can't get over there, just stop by Buckhead at the Prohibition.
We run a direct shuttle right from here, don't we?
Certainly. Most definitely. It's called MARTA.
Yeah, it's called the Prohibition. There it is, Michael.
Walk away, buddy. Just walk away.
That's why we picked this studio, because of the train location and access.
Right between 2 stations, Buckhead and Lenox.
We've had people fly in and just come in the studio and then fly back out. So Michael, talk to us all things, what's happening on your side of the table over there.
Well, essentially, I want to first thank you for allowing us to be here. And I am going to create some distance from this Morehouse guy. I really don't like this Morehouse guy, but seriously.
We'll edit that out, Cassius.
That's okay. On Monday, I want to credit MARTA because what MARTA has done through Ferdinand Risco, who Cassius knows, has really taken steps to expand out, to extend themselves, to try to make sure that more minority, women-owned and veteran-owned firms are able to participate in a lot of the procurement opportunities over the next several months and years ahead. Very specifically on Monday, starting at actually at 7:30, registration and 8 o'clock session, we're going to have a variety of sessions that deal with the transportation opportunities from a procurement standpoint. That includes, of course, Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, the City of Atlanta, Renew Atlanta, Clayton County Government, DeKalb County Government, Fulton County Government, and in session 1, of course, we are honored to have, in addition to Mr. Risco, President of City Council Cesar Mitchell, we have the Vice Chair of the State Department of Transportation, which is a huge entity with opportunities, Todd Long, who runs Fulton County's operations regarding management, and Chairman Jeff Turner for Clayton County Commission. I think that's the first session. Following that, one of the things that Cassius always talks about is building the infrastructure for business, and that is how do we provide access to how do you perform certifications and other critical tools for small businesses to develop their companies. I think so. The infrastructure is important,
right? And
before you go see this guy, you got to be ready.
That's right.
So this will be a hands-on, very open session about the infrastructure, certifications, and also with that, Stacey Key, who is no stranger, Georgia Minority Small Business Development Center, will moderate that session. And we'll have the 3 purchasing leaders from the region. From Clayton County, of course, we have Kara Rogers and Felicia Strong Whitaker from Fulton County, a longtime friend, and Talisa Clark from DeKalb County. They operate those operations. The next session, very quickly, we'll talk about the 4 C's: credit, cash, capital, and coverage, or risk management.
And Cassius. You left that. This one, yeah.
Well, ironically, Cash is just presiding over this session. That's right.
Go figure. This is your send-off party, by the way, Cash. I forgot to tell you that part, yeah.
And so, and those 4 categories, each of those 4 C's are critical for success. And determining what's the risk factor when you have jobs, opportunities, how much insurance do you need?
Right.
Small things that people don't think about.
Well, there's so many moving parts, right? And to figure that out on your own, I mean, when you have these resources available.
And then we also have, obviously, capital and revolving cash as always we talk about, and the issue of credit. The next session, of course, we'll talk about the opportunities that are out there. Kim King from the state DOT.
Wow.
She's awesome. Larry Scott, the Mayor Kissimmee Office of Contract Compliance, and Dave Springstead, the Assistant General Manager for the capital programs at MARTA. And finally, at lunch, we're going to culminate with 3 superstars.
That all happened before lunch?
Before, yeah. We do it
What time are you guys getting started?
Oh, man, early.
7:30.
We do it big. And at lunch, Keith Parker, MARTA's dynamic leader, who's doing
That guy's
a great
been a game
job.
changer.
He will be at lunch. One of the highlighters, Faye Massimino, who's Mayor Reed's new person that runs Renew Atlanta. She came from Cobb County government. And, of course, Roosevelt Council, the gorilla at the airport. So gorilla in a good sense of those opportunities that have grown that region and the state as to what it is.
With all those people in one place, I mean, who's running the store back at?
And the contact number, you asked me,
yeah, absolutely.
It's 404-906-1882, 404-906-1882. That's the contact number. And hashtag GRT. That's get ready for transportation. Hashtag GRT.
Yeah, I thought that was get rich or something, but GRT. But so. We'll post that on the show notes as well, but tell people one more time, location and so forth, yeah.
You certainly, Monday, November the 14th, this Monday, 7:30 a.m. until 1:30 p.m., and registration is about to close as we speak. MARTA has also allowed for this to be no admission.
Oh, what? Now, Michael, you got to open with that, dude. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying.
I was wondering if we were on the list.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Now we are. Yeah, we can get in.
So that's it.
All right. Well said. Thanks again for being in the studio here. And now let's turn our attention. Before we do, remind our listeners once again, you're listening to Pro Business Channel with our $1 billion Buckhead View here in Atlanta, and this is a CoFounders podcast and startup show. So Dale, take it away.
Thanks again. Appreciate it. It's nice to hear y'all talking about startups. This is my 8th startup.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I actually just exited one about 2 months ago.
Okay.
Congratulations,
and sold it off. Thank you. And started it, ran it, and sold it off there all at one time there over a course of 6 years. So we beat the odds, the time frames, and all that. And I've been involved in the startups here in the Atlanta area, the metropolitan area, for about 6 years now. I've led the startup circle for founders and startups up in Alpharetta for about 2.5 years up there at the Alpharetta Tech Center.
Oh, yeah.
I've been working with ATDC for several years as well. So I get it, what you guys are saying, and it's really a vexation to the spirit to start a small business. And there's a lot of things that has to happen all at one time, any one of which can be not so pretty.
So true.
One of my friends says one company per wife.
Oh, man.
And I think he's right. It's a difficult.
Very taxing.
Yeah, it really is. I started. My partner and I started VoterWorks. He's a city councilman up in Alpharetta.
Okay.
He had come to the startup circle, and where we share ideas and just best practices and things. And he kept coming. And the reason I led it was because you can't leave these ADD B students alone in a room. You just never get anything done for 2 hours. And after a few visits, he came up to me one time and said, when I ran for political office, it was so hard. I just threw my name in the hat, but it was really hard to go do this. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to see. Everybody thinks it costs a lot of money. It's awful. Why would you try to raise $100,000 for a job that pays $12? Duh. So he said, I think there's a way that we can improve the political DNA of our country, have better choices, have better people engage, and improve the conversation if we could just reduce the barriers to run for office.
Right.
I'm in. I like that. So we started this. About 2 years ago, we started VoterWorks. And VoterWorks is designed to go through and, as I said, Moneyball for politics. It's designed to help find the most engaged voters and put a score by them. So it's like a consumer report, good, high number.
Like a Yelp.
Yeah, high number good. Okay,
Right.
okay. So if you said, okay, I'm running for, I don't know, city council of someplace. Where do you start? Well, why don't we find the most engaged voters for men, women, black, white, Hispanic, Asia Pacific, and create a message for each one of those cohorts and say, here's what I would do for you if I was a city councilman.
Right.
If you have kids, here's what I would do for you. Well, so we're able to go back for 8 years and create a voting history based on an algorithm that says, here's a score. Is for the individuals, is for the households as well. Use that for your mailing list. You can send it to those people more frequently. And then there's one for your walk list where you go and it's like, hey, Michael, would you help me with my campaign? Why, sure, Dale, I'd be happy to. Well, here's 1,000 people to contact. Well, that's my day to wash the cat, Dale. I'd love to help you, but gee whiz, instead, how about going and saying, Michael, in your voting district, here's 82 cards. They're scored by address here. And go to Pin Oak Lane. There's only 3 houses there with a decent score. Go knock on their door, put it on the bird box, and be done. Well, my wife's getting her hair done Saturday. I can do that during those times. That's how you're able to get those people, then get the voters and get the volunteers to help you out. If you've got a message for the people, let's just say, though, the black females in your district.
Right.
Well, who are the ones that are the thought leaders in that community? Who are the ones that you ask for restaurants? And they're able to identify these people, go engage with them, get a sign in their yard. All of a sudden, this becomes efficient. And you get better people to be able to run for office.
I can see the result of that, the application, but rewind for a second. So say Craig's running for mayor or governor, right? So
I love that.
Right. So how do you identify, or do the voters self-identify themselves, or they go online, they interact, or you have a team that identifies them?
Sure. What we've done is we've gone through and gotten public records of voting history.
Okay.
And it's slightly easier than raising a Wolverine cub. I mean, it's really hard to go get this information because you have registered voters, and then you have voting history, and you have to crunch those together, and you have to do that year after year after year after year, and kind of clean that data up a little bit because some of it is interpreted. For example, the local clerk may put in Alpharetta. Well, that's the name of it. Well, they put in City of Alpharetta instead of the word Alpharetta.
Okay.
Things like that.
Right.
So we clean all that up, make it easy for you folks. And so if he says, I want to run for governor, he says, I want to buy this from VoterWorks, and within 24 hours, he's got a customized list that he can play around with and slice and dice all he wants.
How about the write-in ballot? I mean, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, that's very important because we're actually able to identify those that vote historically absentee. So those are the early voters, and those are the ones you want to get to soonest. And so you make your priority to go contact them first, and then you're able to parse it out from there. So all of a sudden it becomes a plan instead of just waving your arm and screaming and yelling, trying to run your business during the whole time.
Wow.
So this is for somebody running for office, and basically you do all that. You gather all that public domain information.
Yeah, make sense of it.
Right, and make sense of it, and then organize it, and then it's then available for those folks to invest with you. And what's your business model?
Yeah, the candidates is very straightforward. Again, we want to make it painfully simple. They buy a one-time report from us. The local type version for county commissioners, people like that, it's $199.
Okay.
You can't get in a car and go down and get the votes for that kind of money.
Right.
$199. If you want to run for governor, for the statewide, it's $2,000. Again, you'll save this in postage.
Wow.
And here's an example from a customer from just a couple of weeks ago. He said he spent $40,000 in postage in a previous election. This time he spent $10,000 with us using our list and got 60% better results out of it.
I know I go to my mailbox and I'm like about 20 different flyers in there from campaigns running or whatever. Yeah, it seems kind of redundant.
But how many of them came and told you something that was unique to you and them and how they could relate?
That information is
well,
good.
They weren't waiting on my mailbox to talk to me, so I guess none of them.
That's exactly right. So, be smart about it. Like everybody, like the other folks were talking about with running small businesses, find out all the things that you got to do and go do them in a sensible manner. A political campaign is very much like a startup. Think about it. I mean, you got a short amount of time. You make your ideas.
You got to get a team together.
You got to get a team. You got to raise funds. You got to go out and sell, and then it's over. you're either elected or you're not. And so you're out of business or you're in business. And so what we've tried to do is apply a lot of the startup principles that I have seen over the last several years, many years, I won't say how many, and apply those, seeing what works and what doesn't work. I mean,
that is pretty ingenious. So,
thank you. More than the pretty faces.
Right. So how would folks find out about, and what stage are you in here?
We are, some people say it's a seed stage. We've got real product, real market. We're in 3 states, Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina.
Wow.
We've got 82 paying customers as of this date, so
nice.
They're not affiliated, not my cousins or anything like that. We have endorsements from people. They can go to VoterWorks, VOTERWORKZ, VoterWorks.com, and they can read about it, learn all about it, see the little movie, buy early, buy often.
All right,
but,
nice.
It's nonpartisan, right?
Nonpartisan. And actually, it's an interesting point. We've had people come to us and say, we tried to get the tool from our own party, and they wouldn't give it to us. We had to get it from the other party and pay a lot more money. And this is wrong.
Yeah.
But it's so nice on Tuesday night when the local candidate calls you up and at about 10 o'clock at night says, Dale, we won by 162 votes. Wow, that's a big deal.
This could revolutionize the way things are done.
It should, and it certainly could. And we've had people say, I want exclusivity. What? I said, I want to buy both licenses. I don't want my opponent to have this. I was like, okay. Make the check out for 2, But it's nice when you hear judges and people like that saying, this is a big deal. And it ranges from the dog catcher up to Congress that have used us. It really surprises us. We had to go back and change our order form. 4 people running for Congress used us. Dang. So it's really been a fascinating journey to be able to touch the lives of some of these kind of people and make a difference.
Nice. You want to expand that? Maybe can we kind of do a joint venture throughout the metro region?
There you go.
We're going to launch
I think that's a yes.
That's right. Let's see. What time is it now?
Exactly. It's time. It's time for our next segment. Okay. So Anthony Strayhorn, right?
Yep.
I didn't even look at my notes here where we're at. So we've known each other for a little while. You were in quite some time ago, so we're going to talk about updates now. And you're all about the health space. All right. So talk to us about what a day looks like for you. I mean, where do you spend your time, and who do you work with?
So I'm a health and fitness coach,
right?
And I work with a community of people that are involved in health and fitness. It's called the Your Day Balance Game.
Right.
I'm an independent trainer contracted with the community itself,
right.
And day to day, I teach people how to understand how exercising and health and wellness is just a metaphor to life.
Yeah.
It shows us how we experience life. The microcosmic experiences of exercising and what you eat oftentimes translate to the macrocosmic aspects of life. So what I do is I create more connection, more purpose, more understanding that it's all connected. Everything that we do in and out, how we show up as a father, how we run our businesses, how we relate to ourselves, all deal with health and fitness in some bigger game, a bigger picture.
To definitely have what's interesting about the community as well, and the product that they offer is an experience that helps assess the individual from the inside out. And I definitely see some synergy with he and Dale when they're talking about the caliber or the calibration of the individuals that are running for office. I think there's a great marriage there to help assess those people who are running for office in a different manner, a more substantial manner, starting with character, character fitness type of approach. So that's pretty interesting.
Dale can help them run their campaign, and Anthony to run on the track.
Exactly.
So how long have you been at this, and kind of what's next? What's on the horizon?
I've been in about 4.5 years.
Okay.
Previous to that, I was in the corporate sector. I was
Right.
a design engineer. My background is chemical engineering, education, and previous profession.
Okay.
Before that, so I started my own business, or being a personal trainer and health coach, in 2012.
What's the biggest challenges that people may not think of in terms of working with a client or getting on board the fitness train, if you will, right? Because they're switching their habits and their paradigm, right?
Yeah. It's all boiled down to understanding psychology. The mechanics of health and fitness is one thing. I mean, that's a small part of the iceberg.
Yeah.
The bigger part is really getting people to understand how to build their inspiration, to keep it going, to build their why, to live passionately. and to find a bigger meaning to why you do it. Because a lot of us just go very surface. We only stay for the vanity of our bodies and just for the egoic aspects of how we look, as opposed to seeing that how you take care of yourself translates to how you are taking care of your business, how you're taking care of your family, how you're taking care of your finances.
Constituents, yeah.
All of it all ties in. And even the analogy, the metaphor of running, every Saturday at 7:30 in the morning, we lead a 4-mile fun run. And the basic psychology of running that I coach people around is that how you run is how you run through the week, how you run your business, how you run through your tasks and responsibilities. It can show whether or not you're persistent, you have stamina, you have the breath, you have the capacity to take on things. Because, Monday starts, there's a whole bunch of emails in your inbox. Tuesday builds up. Wednesday it settles down a little bit, and Thursday might shoot up. So it's just like a run. After mile 1, it's it's easy. Mile 2, okay, I'm feeling my legs a little burning. Wednesday, the 3rd mile, you start to feel a little bit more, and then it's just
you get in that zone, or you have that runner's high. I know I just started biking quite a bit. I hadn't done that in years, and it's ridiculous how little cardio that I have. I'm just struggling to go up the smallest hill. It's pretty embarrassing, but I've been doing it now for about 6 or 8 weeks. And now it's not as big of a deal.
Right. You start to wrap the mental muscle around the physical as well. And then you start to see how they all play a part.
So talk about spillover, because we're on the business channel here. So I imagine a number of your clients are in some capacity in a business role. So what are some of those conversations look like as far as some success stories that they've had that, like you mentioned earlier, that spill over into their business?
So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs because most of them have flexibility. And they're typically looking to see how they can spend more capacity physically, mentally, emotionally to handle the aspects of building the business, keeping the business going, creating more, connecting more. I've had a client that she owns her own Brazilian waxing salon. She was actually the first woman in Atlanta to bring it here. And since she's been working for me almost 4 years now, she's definitely had more physical capacity because she did suffer from a lot of chronic diseases. But the biggest part was just understanding what created that. What were the circumstances? What were the things she was taking on in her life that created those chronic diseases? And a lot of it had to do with nutrition and this overall lifestyle, but just a lot of the beliefs and the values that she had in her life that created the space for her to experience those things.
Because otherwise it's a conflict or a train wreck, right? A couple minutes left, but we've been talking about fitness, but let's switch gears a little bit, not switch, but talk about nutrition aspect of it and how we cook and eat. And I know I'm looking around the room at these busy entrepreneurs spinning a lot of plates, right? And yes, it can be a challenge, like getting in good food on a regular basis. So what are some takeaways or some shortcuts or how people can make better choices, or in a busy, full schedule, right? Sometimes it's easier just to grab something and go.
For me, it comes down to what's priority, what's value, what's the highest priority value. So for me, it's what I put in my body, not just physically, but environmentally, socially, all kinds of different foods. Most of our food that we ingest is subconscious information food. So yes,
you just make that up right now.
Well,
that's a good one.
It's just what comes to me.
Food.
How I just coach and everything. What comes to me. So
would you say it's almost like when you get stressed out and folks just start snacking on stuff because they're stressed?
Actually, one thing that I found out the other day, if you spell desserts backwards, it spells stressed.
Oh man.
So dessert spelled backwards is stress. So it's no coincidence that people do go for comfort when they're stressed, and it's not that there's no such thing as a wrong or right thing. It's just that you see a common pattern, and when you learn how to break the pattern, you learn how to change your life. Because that's all we're a blueprint of patterns, and we learn how to break our patterns, we can change our destiny. So the takeaway, we have a lot of opportunities to go to farmers markets, Whole Foods, Sprouts, all the businesses around, but just prioritize. What's your value? If you want to feel lighter, if you want to have a more energetic experience throughout the day, eat something lighter. Drink some water, eat some fruit. have a salad. Maybe have half a burger instead of a whole burger, half a sandwich. Maybe instead of going for ranch dressing, balsamic. That's very simple. That's a very simple
cumulative effect of that. I mean, I won't go off. I've talked quite a bit about my obsession with reducing sugar in my diet, but it's been 22 pounds, and I just for several years now, and that's all I did was just monitor. I don't eliminate all sugar, but wherever I'm looking, if I'm buying a loaf of bread or buying whatever 2 items, and even if they're not the best choices, it just because there's so many moving parts otherwise to try to monitor but I just eliminated that. And I look at 2 items, and that has 9 grams, and this has 4. I go with that. Yeah. And over time, it's amazing difference. So a couple more minutes, but before we kind of finish up with a little roundtable session here, Anthony, let us folks know how they reach out to you.
So they can reach out to me, my website, anthonystrayhorn.com. I have a Facebook page, StrayFit, ATL, STRAYFITATL. I'm also on Instagram at that same title as well. Okay. Email strayfit@gmail.
Okay. Social Security, home address,
whatever way it takes, whatever way.
Exactly. Yeah. So gentlemen, let's go around the table real quick in just the last couple of minutes, and let's talk about what's on the horizon for you, what's next in your ventures, or what's a good day look like for you. What's a recent accomplishment, right? So, Michael.
I was first. Let me say thank you again. And last year, I think this is my 4th time here.
I think so. Yeah.
He looked
5th time we charge you. The first 4 are free. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna get an EBT card from this guy here. February 23rd, our 15th annual South Metro.
That's right. Yeah.
We've been here before. You guys have hosted us before, and maybe if you can give me a good deal, maybe you can be on site. Let's work out a deal. A better deal.
Great. Well, Craig's in charge of that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we'll work it out.
We'd love to do that. We did Leader Cast, 7,000 people at that event. So anything business and
it'll be the 15th year of the conference.
Okay.
And we're going to focus on a variety of top topics that hopefully affects all of the region, but especially South Metro. I may even try to get Mr. Bus to come to the South Side again.
Love to.
Yeah.
It'll be our 15th highlight conference. So I'll be back to discuss that if you allow me.
And we'll be on site. Yeah. Let's make that happen. Yeah. Dale, what's a good day look like for you?
When we're able to get people who are interested in running for office and they want to know how they can make a difference and what options are available, and you just hear the sigh of relief from their voice go, wow, this is exactly what I needed. Thank you. You really helped me out. Or their wife or their other family member, someone's like, wow, this finally gives me hope.
And Anthony, you always live in such positive energy. What's a bad day look like for you? No, I'm just messing with you. What's a good day?
They're challenging moments. I just have challenging moments throughout life. I don't look at bad days. Look at my day as opportunities, lessons. Yeah. And there might be times where it'd be challenging to say, okay, I'm happy right now, or this is. But for the most part, I understand how to recontextualize or just re-examine the whole situation. So,
well, I was just kind of teasing about a bad day. It does remind me of Dr. Norman Vincent Peale was once interviewed and said, I was asked, this is a guy that's the father of positive thinking. And they said, well, you must have bad days like everybody else. He says, yes, but the difference is he chooses not to dwell on it. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Cassius, finish us out here.
Well, this is probably my last time.
I know, a little bittersweet,
capacity, but it's been good. Over the years, I've seen you guys grown for having to get to this place with this beautiful $1 billion view.
Thank you.
It's been really, really exciting just to talk to all the entrepreneurs and the folks who are making some great things happen. And it's always good to hear what's taking place in the community. You see a lot of the involvement, you hear the numbers, and you really we get to see the fruits of our labor. So I have to thank our great team that we have, Lola Kress from the regional office. We are just excited about what's taking place in 2017. One of the things that's coming up is on the 31st in January, going to be speaking to American Express Open for government contracting for all the folks that's going to be here in Atlanta, January 31st at the Marriott, downtown Marriott Marquis. I believe I'm giving keynote address, and I believe that the mayor is going to be speaking. I'm going to introduce him. He's going to give the big keynote address, and so it should be a good time.
Yeah.
It should be a good time, but we're going to also continue to stay involved. I will, no matter who's in the office, I'll still be here hanging out with you guys from time to time. And
absolutely, love it.
Just want to thank you again and congratulate you for keeping small business at the forefront forefront for a lot of folks. Without you guys and without having the opportunity to hear what's taking place with our small businesses, people wouldn't know about it.
Right.
So again, thank you, Rich and Craig, and I really appreciate your efforts. We appreciate you, and we look forward to doing more things together in the future.
Most definitely.
We can't end on a better note than that.
So I'm not going to say a word.
We'll see you guys next time in the next episode of the CoFounders.